These are the tomatoes I'm trusting my zone 5A garden with this year. We have slicers, paste, and cherries, and each one has a job to do. I am in Minnesota. We want to know what is fast and quick. So the two types I have are early treat and early girl. This is a 49-day to harvest. I actually have this one gifted to me from Robin Gardens, and I'll link her channel in the description because she's all about tomato flavor. I start all my tomatoes indoors under grow lights in April to plant them outside whenever the soil temps tell me, because it's not really about a date, it's about the soil temps. I need 65 degrees Fahrenheit, which can happen at the end of May, but usually it's safer to just wait till the first week in June. So next, I am going to try as many paste varieties as possible to see which has the best quality, less pest pressure, less diseases, and thrives in my little garden microclimate. I have a garden property away from home. I don't live there. I have to travel there when I want to check on the garden. So it's really important that I narrow down the search to what thrives. So paste tomatoes have thick walls, they're meaty, and I need to make sauce from them. This one was suggested by the Homesteading RD, who I'll link her channel. She's on YouTube. She's also in Minnesota. This Plum Regal paste tomato is a determinate. It's a first time grow for me. It's an F1, which is a hybrid. So it has two different parent plants that they cross together to make this seed. It has all kinds of fun facts. Disease resistant from early blight. It's an interdeterminate. No, it's a determinate. Fusarium wilt, late blight, tomato spotted wilt virus for how do you say that one? Verticillium wilt. If you have those kinds of things, this is supposed to grow and not get those. I haven't had too much problems, but I wanted to test it out because she says high things about it. Now, Grandero is an F1 determinate. We'll see how that one performs next to everybody. And then we also have San Marzano, which I feel like a lot of people have heard of. Interdeterminate heirloom. Heirloom means it has that story, right? It's got heritage. It can be seed saved from, and you'll always get this. It's a classic Italian sauce tomato, but it doesn't have a long shelf life. So when you pick it, you should get it processed. We should maybe talk about determinate and interdeterminate. The determinate, that Grandero, is a bush that's going to put on all its fruit at once, and then it's done for the year. Where an interdeterminate, the San Marzano, is going to be tall, growing until the frost kills it. It's just going to keep growing, flowering, fruiting, growing, flowering, fruiting, right? This is a free seed that I have to grow now. Thanks. It's a pink fang, interdeterminate heirloom, pink colored paste tomato known for its elongated fang like shape, thick flesh with very few seeds. So thank you, Baker Creek. Now I have to try a new one, right? Then I have this Italian Nona seed that was gifted to me from Diva in the Dirt. It is a paste or slicer tomato. She tells a really good story about it, so I will link that in the description to see her channel and her tomato story. Next, we're going to do cherry tomatoes. So let's see if I can say this. Agripiol d'inverno might be how you pronounce this one. It's an interdeterminate. It's an Italian storage tomato, traditionally hung in clusters, storing for months off the vine. So you're supposed to be able to grow this, and at the end of the season, take the whole plant inside, cut it at the soil line, leave the roots in the ground as always. Keep it in a cool, dry, dark place, and possibly be harvesting tomatoes off of the vine. So we're going to test to see how long into winter can I be doing that is for sure something I want to try. What it translates as is bunches of winter or winter grapes. So again, like I said on the screen, they're hung upside down in the house. Apparently, 4 to 6 weeks into winter. I'm not sure if that's really a thing. We have sun gold, which a lot of people hear about. It's that orange cherry tomato. Interdeterminate, it's a hybrid. I don't know who the parents are. The two parents that make the sun gold, it's a secret. It doesn't store well. This is your everyone falls in love tomato. This is your garden treat, your snacker, right? The purple bumblebee reminds me of the purple Cherokee, but little, right? It's an heirloom, it's interdeterminate. It is that striped cherry color, sweet with slight tang, gorgeous in salads. I hear a lot of people do a ferment with them. I don't have a recipe, but I am getting more into fermenting this year. So we're going to be trying that on the channel. Now, this one I think a lot of people see is Berry's Crazy Cherry. It's an heirloom indeterminate with the massive clusters, small yellow fruit, extremely productive. I'm going to see if the kids want to snack on it. We might do some sun-dried tomatoes with it. You let me know in the comment section if that's a good one to do that with. I don't know if, yeah, it says cherry. This is Gardener's Delight. So this was one that I've grown before, and I wasn't sure if I should grow it again. So let's see. Open pollinated also means heirloom. There you can kind of see the details. I'm going to do it again. I just don't know if it's going to win and be in the rotation forever. So let's get into the slicers for the BLTs, the tomato sandwiches. This one is Dr. Witchy's, that yellow heirloom, indeterminate, large golden beefsteak, sweet, low acid, great slicer, not a long keeper. But they get very big, and I think this is going to be on my always grow it for the yellow type of variety. Now, my husband does have GERD, so he has problems with certain foods triggering some kind of reflex, and he has his own ways of dealing with it. And I'm not going to discuss it on the channel, but we go the natural way. This is pork chop. So this is a tomato that he can have and it doesn't upset him too much. An heirloom or open pollinated is another way to talk about seeds that you can save and it'll create the same plant. It was created by breeder Brad Gates of Wild Boar Farms. It's the yellow slicer. Mild sweet citrus, good for fresh eating. I've tried to freeze it and make a sauce with it, and that doesn't work so well at all. Beefy purple. I want to know which one is better between this one and then the next two varieties that I talk about. So this is open pollinated. I think it's determinate. We'll see. I like the color. I am a fan of the Cherokee purple, but we're replacing that this year possibly, which I'm going to get into. So there's a competition between beefy purple and then beefsteak. We hear a lot about, right? The classic large slicer, indeterminate, juicy, traditional. I feel like this is the one that people want to find at the farmer's market, you know? And then there's this new one called, to me, Cherokee Carbon. So it was gifted to me, the seeds from Robin Gardens. Again, I'll link her channel in the description. It's a hybrid. So there's two parents, the Cherokee Purple and the Carbon Tomato made the Cherokee Carbon. Okay? It's a deep, dusky color, complex, smoky, sweet flavor. And I hear this one doesn't split as bad as that Cherokee Purple does. So we'll see if I can narrow these three down to just one to be on my grow every year list. Another one that was gifted to me by Robin Gardens was Mr. Tartar's German. This is an heirloom indeterminate, large pink beefsteak, rich old-fashioned flavor, produces 1 to 1.5 pound, which is 450 to 680 grams of a red heart-shaped fruit with excellent flavor. Now, mushroom basket, I got the seeds on Urban Farmer. So I don't have a picture of the tomato, but it's a Russian heirloom, indeterminate, deep ribbing, very meaty, good for fresh or stuffing. So if you have a cool stuffing tomato recipe, I want to hear from you in the comments. This next one is a special one, Talvez F1 hybrid, Jacques in the Garden over from Epic Gardening. Jacques has his own channel, recommended this one. So I'm actually collaborating with Robin Gardens. I don't have the picture of what the tomato looks like, but we're going to see how it performs. We're both going to make videos on it. It's an attractive yellow, red and yellow stripes, known for bright, sweet flavor and the shelf life, supposedly. So if you've grown the Talvez, I want to hear from you. What are the tips and tricks? What did you think of it? Because it's one of those more expensive seeds. You know what I'm saying? And then this is from Seed Savers Exchange, an Italian heirloom. This is from Italy. It's a fresh eating or canning, indeterminate. It says easy to peel, which makes me worried that the skin is so thin that it's all sensitive to weather. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. We're going to see how these grow. So the early tomatoes give us the hope, the fresh eating right away in the season. The paste tomatoes or for the winter and the hunger gap, right? The preservation piece. You can do it any way you want. The cherry tomatoes, we're going to try different experiments with. They give us abundance. Usually they produce a whole bunch. Those heirlooms tell a history. We have the seeds story, and we can keep growing from that stock every year if we do good seed saving. I did a whole seed saving basics with Robin Gardens on the channel. If you want to check out that conversation, I'll link that in the description. And then those hybrids, sometimes you just need to rely on them for the pest, the disease, the reliability of getting a harvest out of it. You can seed save from them, but you're not going to get the true what you saved from, which we can get into adaptive agriculture, adaptation agriculture, landrace gardening. I've been doing a lot of that in my garden in another conversation. So as I said before, this is the year of trial and experiment. I'd like to narrow down the top paste, the top cherry, few cherries, maybe a few slicers. So I'm not growing 20 plus varieties every year. I'm going to grow at least one plant of each, right? If you want to see every seed that I'm growing, check out the live stream for the seed haul next. And I also have another live stream where I talk about the map. How do I plan out all of these things at the garden property where I do not live? How do I get a harvest in the spring, the summer, and the fall in the same space? Remember to grow every day in every way, and I'll see you in the next video.